And so we've made it again. Welcome everybody into our studios. I am Vera Jones, your host, and you have just joined in on the Women's Professional Basketball Association, the WPBA Owners Corner. And this is actually our fourth episode. I can't even believe that we've been going as long as we have already. And I'm welcoming into the studio this week, Jervorah Whitfield. She is with the Carolina Upstate Thunder. Jervorah, welcome into the Owner's Corner.
Thank you. Thank you, Vera. Good to be here.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. I have been having so much fun. I didn't think I was going to have this much fun. I actually retired from broadcasting. I thought I retired in March, and then COVID hit 3 days after I retired, and everybody blamed me and said it was my fault that sports broke down because I left and took all the sports with me.
Oh,
I'm really just not that talented or that evil. But it happened that way. And it's really, really refreshing to know that not only are we getting back to at least some semblance of sports, but we have a brand new league on the horizon. And I'm so happy that I got a chance to be a part of this. So, Jervorah, usually just because this is really all about you and the owners of the WPBA, an opportunity before the season gets started to just get to know you. So take us back. Where are you from? That accent's going to give you away for sure, but take us back. Tell us where you're from and how you got into basketball.
I am Jervorah Whitfield Goosby. I am from a small town, Ware Shoals, South Carolina. And those of you that know definitely know, yes, it is the country. But I reside now here in Simpsonville, South Carolina.
All right. And so basketball for you began at an early age, you were sharing with me. Tell us a little bit what that looked like.
Absolutely. Started at a very young age of 5, playing Parks and Rec in Greenwood County. Those days were memorable. Had 2 older brothers in the neighborhood, just playing, having fun, enjoying being a kid. Picked up on my first love, basketball, that is great. Passionate about it. Went on, played high school, then went on and played collegiate basketball with Belmont Abbey College, and actually tried to go to play overseas, and that's where I ended my my basketball career.
So they called you Bunchy
Bunchy,
Whitfield. That's where who you used to be.
that's
What's
it.
Bunchy all
Bunchy
about?
Whitfield.
What's a Bunchy?
Bunchy. Bunchy was a nickname given to me by my grandmother and my family. I was very chunky, um, butterball, and ate everything. So it was Bunchy, 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 and it stuck
Got
with
it.
me. It stuck with me.
Got it. All right. So that's where Bunchy came from and went to Belmont Abbey and then went on. So you played at Belmont Abbey, but then you went on and got not just your undergrad, but also a master's degree
Correct.
um, in HR, correct?
Yes. Yes. I got my master's in HR management and
Mhm.
development, two masters in one. But that was at Webster University.
At Webster University. And so now, isn't it neat how life? I mean, I'm if as a little kid, I'm sure you didn't say, "Oh, sure, I know what I want to be when I grow up. I'm going to own a women's professional basketball team." Right?
No,
What did you want
right.
to be
No
as
way.
a little girl?
I wanted to be playing in the NBA. That's what I wanted to
Okay.
be.
Okay. Right.
I'm like,
Right.
I gotta make it, and then they come with the WNBA, so I was surely I can be in the WNBA.
Are you
And
tall? I can't. You're
I'm
a
not.
guard.
I'm only 5'8". I'm only five
Okay.
eight. Yep, 5'8".
Don't say only. I'm only 5'8".
You won't?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Tall enough. Tall enough. All
Tall
right. So
enough.
yeah,
Yes.
you had WNBA dreams, and then
Right.
so it didn't actually pan out. Uh, but here you
But
are, a young owner of a professional basketball team. It came together, and do you think that the business background and the background in HR and organizational management, do you think that now maybe your dream is making a little sense?
yeah, absolutely. It's all coming together. I never even thought of owning a team until this now, and using the HR, definitely I have been using my organizational and development behind
So
the
walk
song.
us. I've been, I've had three of these interviews, and I keep forgetting to ask some questions that I absolutely want to know. And I think our viewers out there, if you're joining us, by the way, on Facebook Live or YouTube Live, thank you so much for sitting in, and we welcome you into the Women's Professional Basketball Association Owners Corner. We're here every Monday and every Wednesday night for at least the next month or so as we go through all of the owners and some of the admin of the organization, and we want to look at what happens behind the scene. So that brings me to this question. You are the newest team to join the WPBA, the Carolina Upstate Thunder. And what have you found being so new makes your day a little crazy? What's the hardest part about doing this job, about owning a professional team?
Um, Good question. The hardest thing is to be working a regular job and
Mm.
trying to make this
Mhm.
happen on this end. It's the hardest. Just trying to juggle everything. I'm a mom. I'm a new mom.
Oh,
First,
congratulations.
right, thank you. And, I'm a wife also. So,
Hmm.
it's kinda juggling everything, but it's coming too, and the hardest after that is just forming my staff, people that surround me, to make this work, make it all come together for me.
So your regular job or your yeah, I say regular job. They're both regular, but
Right.
your full time, all day, paying the bills really hard right now job is with BMW. And I was wondering, like, can I get the hookup? Can I get a hookup on one of those? The BMW. I'm sure people ask you that all the time, but
All the time.
you're busy there. And then walk me through the day of what happens behind the scenes. What are some of the things, obviously hiring coaches, getting your team, what are some of the other things that happen behind the scenes right now,
Um
anyway, hasn't started?
Behind the scenes, right now is we just hired two amazing coaches. One from her name is Temple Elmore. She her
Mhm.
last job was at Columbia College,
Okay.
where she was the head coach there. And Nina
Hmm.
Stone, who is actually Malden High School here in Malden,
Hmm.
South Carolina. She's
Hmm.
the head basketball coach there. So that was the challenge, but we got those two good coaches, and we are starting now with our tryouts. That's another one behind the scene on how to reach the athletes in the colleges and the universities here in the upstate, and we have a lot to choose from, so it shouldn't be a problem.
I'm sitting here and I'm thinking about all of the things that have to go in, and just years ago, just a couple of decades ago, it was, we didn't even have the WNBA, and 3 decades ago anyway. Um, and so now to look and see all of the offshoots of other organizations trying to come together, and other women's groups, organizations, sports teams, all of these things, it's just amazing. And how quickly, once we had one or two things in place, it almost gave the we can do this too. I sit here and I think, I don't know if you noticed, but we had a presidential election just recently.
Right.
And we have a Madam Vice President in Kamala Harris. Um, and it has always been a belief of mine that having role models in place, once you see that you can be, then you go and you make it happen. And a lot of times, in particular, women have been limited just because of the lack of modeling, or having that mentor, or someone who could say, I've been there and I've done that, so let me help you. How
Mhm.
important to you is, in this process, is not just for women that want to become professional basketball players, but women that want to get involved on the administrative side as well? How important is that mentoring?
I think it's very important. I think that is needed. I think that we actually gain something from it. I was once there. I looked into actually Georgia Soul coach
Mhm.
Nessa in Wright. She
Mhm.
was a good inspiration for me.
Okay.
When I even came with the thought, like, I might wanna do this, seeing
Hmm.
her in this field, seeing her work, I mean, and she's amazing.
Okay.
So I that what drew me to becoming a team owner, and her and I, we actually met in tryouts trying for overseas international basketball. We met at that camp, and we kind of
Okay.
stayed in touch, and she ended up saying like, "Hey, you need to get a team down there," So she was kind of nudging me, and but about it or whatnot. And I came to her, and hey, it's been good ever since. So, and that was a mentor for me. She was mentoring me through this whole step, and she looks like me. She's a
Hmm.
woman like me, so
Hmm.
that kind of it makes a difference, when it's in front of you.
Well, with that in mind, I would imagine, one of the things that has been kind of a central theme is just how community centric the WPBA is that
Right.
all of your grassroots efforts come right there from the team's individual communities. You give back to the communities. What are some of the things that you've done from a community standpoint so far, and what are some of the things that you're looking to do?
Correct. That's one thing that drew me to the WPBA, was the community centric part. Just giving back to your community. That's always needed, and it's always a blessing to do it. Lately, we actually did the breast cancer awareness. That was kind of getting, the breast cancer
Hmm.
awareness, showing people that people survived it, and motivating them to stay strong during it, because be aware of it. It's real. So just hearing the stories from other people that's been there,
Hmm.
was inspiring to others. We did that, and then here November and December is coming, so we actually have Thanksgiving, time
Hmm.
of giving. So we want to connect with communities here in Greenville County and Simpsonville, and go out and feed people. So we'll be reaching out to different organizations trying to collaborate on something there. And also Christmas is coming, so we'll be
Hmm.
giving a youth, I mean kids, we're reaching out to those in school districts in the school in the area on kids that lack. So we'll be giving those kids, taking them toys or whatnot, whatever we have for them. And we also do back to school programs, back to school backpacks when they need it,
Hmm.
when school starts. So just being in the community is what we're trying to gain, and trying to get ourselves out there.
Another question I had too was just about, and I'm surprised I didn't ask this one before. Facilities. Where will you play?
So, the plan is we'll be playing at Legacy. It's here in Greenville.
Hmm.
It's a charter school here in Greenville, South Carolina. Um,
Hmm.
and they're really known in their basketball program there. They kind of play, they have a varsity team and a travel team. So they're a pretty good team. You have to look those guys up. But we'll be actually playing there, and that's where we'll be hosting our tryouts there, December
Hmm.
the 5th. We'll be
Oh, I had to
there
write that
actually
down.
hosting the
December 5th.
tryout.
Is it
Yep,
open
December 5th.
tryouts? Can anybody come and watch, or it's closed?
Anybody can come, but we will be doing the COVID methods. We'll be checking
Right.
temperatures and signing COVID waivers, and all of that. So
You
definitely,
know,
you're welcome.
for a split second, I forgot about COVID. I got excited for a
Got
split second. I'm like, it's still with us. It's still here.
still with us.
How
Yep.
how is that complicated? How did that complicate? Because you were supposed to launch this year, or I think the league was supposed to kick off in May of this year. And so now, for those of you that are joining in, the WPBA does start play in May of 2021. Um, but I'm sure we still have to ask permission to COVID whether or not that can happen. But
Yes.
how many problems has that caused for you this year?
Um, it was good for me, because I was building.
Okay.
I know the other owners won't think that, but it was actually good for me. I was able
Mhm.
to catch up,
Mhm.
and implement things that I had on this side, and I just used that time to keep things afloat and find sponsorships and things of that nature and get websites up. So I use the time wisely.
Hmm.
Unfortunately, we didn't get to play, but I know it's coming, so I had to plan ahead.
Yeah, yeah. So when you get your team, you're gonna have the tryouts. You'll come away with your team. Do you already have some stars in mind, so to speak? Do you have some franchise players?
Yeah,
How does that work? Because
we're
you're right there in South Carolina, and I know Dawn
right.
Staley over there at USC. So.
Right. As you and I was talking in the green room, I was telling you that I had reached out to Dawn's assistant, but
Hmm.
we do have a key player here in Greenville. She's graduated or whatnot. Maria
Hmm.
Perez is. She's good. She's a point guard. So
Hmm.
we're trying to work things around her and get some post players, and we have a couple of looks overseas. One of the head coach have connects over there. So as you know, overseas really not playing right now. So they'll
Right.
come to states and kind of keep them conditioned and working them out. And so hopefully we get a couple of those girls, and I think we can build around that.
Okay. Well, I'm very very excited, and I know that there are some young women that are listening now or will catch this on the backside of it that may be interested in trying out. And that's one of the things that I've watched is, now I'm not going to talk about when I came out, but okay, I am. Even when I came out back in the 80s and the Jerry curl was still really cute. Um, even, there were a ton of us that still had the passion to play, but at that point, there was no WNBA. The WNBA's inception was in 1997. So here we are coming out in the 80s. And unless you kind of had a connection or you were a really big name, it wasn't likely you were going to go overseas to play. And even then, it was paying some, but it was a little, questionable. And people would go over
Right.
there and they get lost and maybe not come back or don't get paid. And it was all these different rumors and things and problems. Um, but now I think that's why I get so excited about this again, because I hate telling my age, but the truth is I came out back in the 80s and I can look back in hindsight and I realize what that felt like to come back to be done with your college career and still
Hmm.
feel like you had, you're only 21 years old, it's like I still
Right.
want to play, or 22 or whatever. And there's nothing for you. And now all of the opportunities. And I think, there's a lot of people pulling for this organization and other organizations that will sprout out that give opportunities for women to continue playing, have a sense of significance and purpose, and get exposure to what professional sport feels like. I think that is just so awesome in what you are doing. And will there be some efforts to just on your part from an administrative part? Are you going around to schools? What is some of your vision to make sure that people know that you exist and to try to get some of the best talent that is available?
Um, well, now I have our director of basketball operations have been really working hard at trying to recruit and deal with different universities, coaches and stuff, getting in with the staff. Um, so I plan, and I tell everybody that's kind of why I joined the WPBA, because I feel like it can be a bridge
Mhm.
to professional, to the professional side. I think we can become that bridge between the college and the WNBA or the overseas chances. So, um, giving those athletes that um, opportunity, I think is great. So when we recruit, we make sure that we're letting them know the opportunities that can come with this, um, and just trying to make it happen for them, and try to bring the WPBA bigger.
All right, that sounds like it's part of the vision, but anytime you start anything new, there's that novelty effect. And you're like, oh my gosh, and we could do this, and we can do this, and we can do this. What are some of those big ideas, the big vision that you have as being a part of the WPBA?
I want to bring it. We have the Born Secure arena here in Greenville. So
Hmm.
I want to host that game in Barnes Sequoia and get those fans in there and let's want to be the team in the face of Greenville, South Carolina.
All right. Well, all right. So that's, I
That's
guess, a
big.
big idea. All right. And what about
That's
for you
big.
personally? What's the big, what's Bunchy want to do? What does Bunchy want to do moving forward?
Uh, Bunchy want to make want to make this her only career, and do
Oh,
nothing
nice.
else. That would be nice for me.
Hmm.
Since I didn't get to do what I thought I was supposed to do.
Hmm.
But
Hmm.
that all shows, I mean, in your calling, I guess, we're called and sometimes we learn our call later, but as long as we're perfecting it and it'll fall into place.
One of the other things that's sitting here stirring in my brain is just it's hard to separate what's happening in the world. We talked about COVID, but we also have a lot that's going on in terms of race relations ain't the best, right? And so we've been having
Right.
a lot of problems, and we've seen when you talk about leadership and women having a voice. And I asked some of the other coaches this as well. Or the admins that came on. Just what are your thoughts on the activism? You see how the WNBA took a very, very big voice, and had a very prominent presence in terms of the Black Lives Matter movement and calling attention to the whole say her name movement, and the Breonna
Mhm.
Taylor, and so there was a lot that was done to bring awareness. That is now part of the culture. It's part of the sports culture now that there is, and I won't say it's an expectation, but I will say that young people also look to celebrities, sports figures, entertainers, people that have a voice, political activists, to speak for them. Do you ever think about what some of those challenges will be for you from a administrative leadership standpoint?
Um, I definitely see the need of it. I don't see anything wrong with it. I think that it's needed. That
Hmm.
gets people attention sometimes. Some people just want to hear that from that top player or from that millionaire, from that billionaire,
Right.
So I definitely think that is needed, and I don't think you should be quiet about certain stuff. I
Hmm.
think that I mean, certain things need to be things need to be attention. You have to have some kind of attention on it. And I think Black Lives Matter, and Breonna Taylor and all that. I think that it's a great thing. I don't have a problem with it, and I would be one who would speak on it and support it and things of that nature.
Okay. All right.
Mhm.
Very, very good to know. Moving forward, I'm thinking about there are, first of all of the people in the chat. Grayson, I see you. Diane, there's someone named Diane Green. You know Diane Green? Jervorah? All
Yes,
right. She's
yes,
hollering
ma'am.
at you. She's all over the place. And then, yep, there's Denise and Willie Brown, downtown Willie Brown. I see you. So we got some folks today. Tiny, my girl Tiny, she's giving us a salute for being Black Queen. So that's awesome.
That's
Appreciate
not
that. And so with the people that are watching this broadcast, and as you know, it also plays later um, in the replay, there are young women out there, young basketball players, and even young girls that tune in and watch this. I want to invite you that there's someone out there looking at you right now going, maybe one day I can own a team, right? What would you say to her? What can you offer her in terms of her development, in terms of her education? If she wants to be a baller, what can she do, to continue a career on that? Overall, what's some good advice for someone who's looking at you and looking up to you right now?
for the young lady or kid who's looking at me, I would always recommend them to stay in school. Don't make sport your number one priority. Always have a backup plan. because you never know where sports will lead you. I'm the perfect example. Where I thought it would lead me, it didn't, but I'm back here. So that's a blessing. So I would recommend them to extend their, I mean, leave the door open for opportunities. That's that's a good thing. But also, put your forth your effort and do everything 100% and leave it. And therefore you can't say that you let yourself down. Uh, so always keep God first and the rest is history.
The rest will fall where it may. I'm looking at, okay, I got to give out a shout out to David Morrison. I see you. He's a basketball man.
Okay.
The WPBA is getting, there's people that, are interested in having you all have their sports drinks, their basketballs, their uniforms, and sneakers and things and stuff. I'm still just trying to stay on your side to get that BMW. I don't know when you're moving up in the company. I got to be good for it at some point.
You,
So,
you got
but
you
if things go well, maybe BMW after a while, maybe that becomes the side gig. Who knows? And the
right.
WPBA will take off. And so I know that that's your dream and that's your vision. So we're going to wish that for you. For all
Thank
of you watching the league launch, live WPBA action does begin May of 2021. Hard to believe that's only about 6 months away. So Jervorah, I know you're starting to get sweaty palms. It's going to
you.
happen
Yeah.
fast, coming
It's
fast.
coming.
Every Monday and Wednesday we have the Coaches Corner, so you can tune in here. I'm Vera Jones, your host. We look forward to doing this. I hope I say Coaches Owners Corner. And I'm hoping moving forward, then we'll start to get a chance to talk to the coaches and the players or whatever. But it's really been a great opportunity just to get to know each and every one of you. I really appreciate you being on the show, offering great advice. And then last but not least, how can people who are interested in the Carolina Thunder, how can they find you? What's the website? What are the credentials? What do you need?
Yes, so we have the website. It's www.cupstatethunder.com. You can find everything you need on there from the tryouts to the
Mhm.
staff. Also, we have the store is on there. We have face masks available on there that you can buy or whatnot
Really?
to come to the
Cool.
games or whatnot. So we welcome
That's
you if you're interested in becoming a future player for the Upstate Thunder. Um, Application is there. Come to our tryouts. We're near you in Greenville, South Carolina. December the 5th, we'll be at Legacy. Charter School will be there from 1 to 4. So welcome you and come out to join us. And we hope the community jump on the bandwagon.
There are some brilliant minds behind the WPBA. I am so happy that we had a chance to talk to you, Jervorah Whitfield Goosby, also known as Bunchy.
That's it.
I love Grandma. You gotta love the nicknames, man. Gotta love
Gotta
them.
love.
I'm Vera Jones. It's been a wonderful time being with you all again. Please join us again on Wednesday night for another round of the Owner's Corner and the WPBA broadcast. Catch you next time. Bunchy, any final words?
Nope. Thanks for having me, Vera.
All right. You're absolutely welcome. Thanks